Welcome to Real Talk at the Round Table with Coach William Forcum, Coach David Smith, and Coach Rudy Upshaw. Hey, we're excited to have you guys and gals here. Thank you so much for tuning in. We love when you guys tune in. So, David, what else?
Well, we have to introduce our wonderful guest here today. We are honored and we are blessed to have Rudy here. Now, let me tell you, Rudy has been an inspiration to me for a long time. Ever since I was an RPC, Rudy has a very good practice going on. He actually coaches people, but he also has coaches working for him, so he's able to work with a lot of coaches and work as a team together. Because of him, he is why I do what I do. So I am honored to welcome Rudy Upshaw onto this podcast.
David, thank you. William, thank you so much. And wow, David, man, that was a great introduction. I will definitely get my check in the mail to you once this is over with. So, no, it's an honor to be here today and just to have a conversation with you guys and to encourage people to, live out their goals and dreams.
And I love how you said that, goals and dreams, because that's what we are. We're here to inspire and push them, get them to that next level where they can actually do what they want to do, be what they want to be.
Yeah. We've got so many naysayers, so many haters, so many critics in the world. And, what we get to do as coaches is really anti-cultural, isn't it, Rudy and David? It's so countercultural, and it really, it's a blast. I'm going to say it's like I get to be somebody's best friend, their coach, their accountability partner, that voice of hope. Maybe I'm the only voice of hope they've heard all day, maybe all week, maybe all month. We don't know. So, it's just inspiring. Going back to what you said, David, yeah, it's inspiring.
Yeah, it is. Would you guys like me to share a little bit about my story, kind of who I am? I'm sure your audience knows all about you guys and how amazing you are. Would that be a good place to start?
Sure.
Go for it.
All right, fantastic. Thank you, guys. So, again, my name is Rudy Upshaw. I'm CEO and founder of Cross Shield. We have three different lines of business that we work with people through. Our first line of business is called Cross Shield Financial, and that line of business is really designed to work with individuals, households, to help them take control back of their money. We are very exclusively financial coaches. We're a financial coaching firm. What that means is not only do we help people with their goals and dreams, but we also do that from a perspective of helping them achieve those goals and dreams through really sound financial practices and disciplines. Everything that we do in life has a financial component to it. And so we want to make sure that our clients in our Cross Shield Financial line of business develops the disciplines, the behaviors to be able to not just accomplish those goals and dreams, but also to be able to do that ongoing with themselves. Our second line of business that we have is called Cross Shield Strategies. That's our business consulting division. That particular division works with small businesses to help them accomplish their goals, help them be more profitable, deal with process issues. Maybe there's some people issues. In effect, we're that fractional CFO that works with a small business or a middle-sized company that may not be able to afford a full CFO role. We help them accomplish that. And then the last line of business that we have is called Cross Shield Coaching. And our coaching division, for me personally, I love working with financial coaches and helping them grow their practice. And so at the latter part of last year, we'd been working on developing a coaching division that works exclusively with those people that want to learn how to be a financial coach, want to grow their practice. And we actually have a coaching school that newer or even maybe some financial coaches that want to grow on the financial side of their coaching practice can come in. We can really add some value and help them grow and be successful that way. I've been doing this now for 17 years professionally out of a 30-year commercial banking background. And so I was coaching overarching umbrella for helping people and individuals achieve the financial goals they have. I want to talk just briefly about what a financial coach is. David, I know you have a lot of coaching experience in many different ways. William, you do too. We're very specifically focused on the financial side. And so a financial coach will really kind of make sure that that individual or even that business understands what's going on with their finances, with their money situation today, and also make sure that they have a written plan. Typically, we call that the budget or the cash flow projections for a business, making sure that they have a good, healthy structure for those to help them work toward the goals that they have for the household or for the business. So just want to really talk a little bit about that and just share that with you guys in the audience from that financial coaching side of things. So I've rambled a bit long, so I'm going to hush and then just lob it back over to you guys.
Yeah, Rudy. Well, thank you for sharing. And before this podcast ends, I would really like to hear the story behind, not right now, but here in just a few minutes, the story behind Cross Shield. Cross Shield. So there's an interesting story there that you'd like to share. But for now, yeah, I'd like to lop it over to David.
Well, I think it's, I love how you got it broken down into 3 different categories. You got 3 different departments. That way each group is precise and we know exactly what we're doing and we're focused in on, and this is exactly what we're doing.
It screams organization.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because a lot of people, like a lot of coaches, I'm a financial coach. I'm also a personal development coach. I'm also this. I'm also that. I also do businesses. And they tackle a whole bunch and they can do whatever, but it's whatever you need, that's what I'm here for. And I like how it's exactly precise.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that didn't happen overnight. Again, I've been doing this a long time, and it's taken that period of time to kind of narrow down really what it is that we want to do in our mission and our vision, our purpose for Cross Shield. And I think that's one area that maybe a lot of financial coach or just coaches in general maybe struggle with is trying to figure out really, I have a purpose that I want to coach, I want to help people be successful, but really kind of where are those areas of expertise that I really am passionate about, that I'm really knowledgeable about, that I can take those talents and skills and really specifically kind of lean in. I think when I have conversations with coaches across the country, it's very evident that that can be a challenge for many folks to kind of figure out where is it that I'm really pointing and targeted. In our coaching school that we have a whole module dedicated to the ideal client, and it definitely follows right back behind the module before that, which is your mission, vision, purpose. Once you identify the mission, vision, purpose, and granted, it's not going to be set in stone initially because it's going to change a little bit over time, but once as a coach you identify really kind of what the MVP is, then it allows you to specifically look at, okay, what type of clients align with my mission, vision, and purpose. And so that's what we've done at Cross Shield over a long period of time, is really kind of narrowing that down, being able to be very targeted, and be able to know that, whether a client, when they come in and have some requests, if they're going to be a fit for where we are based on our mission, vision, and purpose. So it's really important to establish that fairly early on, knowing that's going to change a little bit, but the overall, structure of it, the overall drive behind it really should stay fairly intact.
And I like that because the funny thing is that a lot exactly the opposite of what I do. What I mean by that is, coming from Ramsey, we have a lot of people. Ramsey teaches finance, and so he brings people out and puts financial coaches out there. But I'm constantly telling people, well, don't you do more than just finance? I'm the one pushing them to do more, and yet that's counterintuitive because you need to be precise.
And it's tricky because as financial coaches, we discuss problems behind the numbers, right? Behind the numbers. We're not accountants. We're not bankers. We are coaches, and we discuss changing behavior. So that can be tricky, I think. We are financial coaches, but we're also personal development coaches because we know that if we can change the habits and behaviors, the money will follow.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. And you can any coach can kind of define kind of how they want to be viewed. Um, and we've chosen to take an approach very directly that we're going to focus on the financial side of things, and knowing that and it's very difficult for us to, I don't know, maybe work with coaches that want the finance side if their bent or their desire is really on the finances, because everything else that we do in life, there's a behavior component. There's all these other things that are going on. So you're going to get into some emotional conversation. You're going to get some relational conversations. But at the end of the day, what we've defined as our practice is how do we address the behaviors that then have either an impact or an effect financially, right? And so, because we want to be really cautious when we work with clients that, yes, we are here to talk about the behavior issues. We're here to talk about the emotions. We're here to talk about all those things, but we don't want to just leave it at that. If we can talk about that from the perspective of a person's finances and what's causing them to make those financial decisions or what's causing them to not make those financial decisions, then it really has a huge impact on their ability to build wealth. And many times these issues, these drivers around maybe why they have not done the things that they probably need to have done financially, why they have so much debt, maybe that they're working through, why they don't have the emergency fund, and really to understand those dynamics and help them reframe those thinkings, help them address those limiting beliefs, and many times the objections that they have. If we can do that to where they start to develop a different mindset, a different way of looking at it, then you're right. The money decision should be a little bit more of a byproduct around that. But what I will tell you is that where it really materializes and where you see it is on the financial piece. So the financial piece becomes much more of a, oh my gosh, I've got to address this now. And that's fine. We will address that, but we do want to understand the reasons that got them there so that we can help and guide them not have that happen again.
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead, David. I can tell you got something.
And I like your point because, it's funny because like a lot of people get mixed up between a financial advisor and a financial coach. And the advisor handles your money where the coach handles the behavior. So the two go hand in hand. You work, a lot of times we work together. We'll handle one side, they handle the other side. And it's cool that, being precise exactly with the finances, we're going to work hand in hand with them, but we're going to get your behavior with the finances in check so that you can become debt free and so that you can become financially independent. Invest your money wisely and keep moving forward.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's a great point. In every dollar, the Ramsey budgeting tool that Ramsey offers, uh, it's got I think it's called a network calculator on there, and you can actually plug in, like if you follow the plan, you plug in your income, you plug in your debts, you have them, your bills, and it'll tell you a scheduled time on if you follow this plan and do what we instruct you to do as coaches, then you'll be a millionaire by this time, or you'll be out of debt by this time. And I've experienced within my coaching practice showing my clients that it gives them just that, Rudy. It gives them a new way of looking at it. It reframes their whole reality. Like, oh, I could be here if I just follow the blueprint.
Yeah, one of the very first things that we do in our cross shield coaching line of business with the financial coaching school. So our financial coaching school is an online coaching program. We go through 12 weeks, 12 different modules that we've identified. And the reason we created this coaching school and this coaching program is because when I started this whole process, 16, 17 years ago, I didn't have any kind of blueprint at all. and I was kind of figuring it out as I went. I had lots of, hitting my head on the wall, trying to figure things out, and lots of mistakes, and quite a bit of stupids. And so, going through that process, also going through the formal financial coach master training program with Ramsey Solutions, which is a world class, phenomenal program. And I highly encourage your audience listeners, if they're thinking about understanding how to become a financial coach, kind of where do I start, that is a great program to begin. But going through that program and some other program trainings, what I identified was that those programs are fantastic. They're wonderful. They're really designed around how to actually coach with someone, how to understand what a person's goals, what their dreams are, understand their financial situation, and give them some help in the coaching perspective. What I felt like that I would benefit from would be having some actual, okay, how do I grow my practice? What are some specific things that I need to be doing that's going to help me attract clients, that's going to help me grow my practice, grow my business? And so that's what we've developed with that. But the very first module that we have in our coaching school is what is financial coaching? Because I think we need to be very clear on what financial coaching is and the aspects around that. And we found that students that have gone through the class have really appreciated that aspect. Will, to your point, of identifying what's the role of a financial coach compared to a financial advisor, a financial consultant, or some of these other avenues of the financial services industry. The great thing about financial coaching is that not only do you get to understand how to manage your money well, how to build wealth, do the budget, all those things, but in financial coaching, your financial coach is going to walk alongside you through your journey. And the big difference that I see between outside of the SEC regulatory aspect of it is all the other financial service disciplines that are there, they are not designed to walk hand in hand with a client as this client is figuring this stuff out. Maybe the first time they've ever done a budget in their entire life. And we're talking 40, 50, 60-year-old people that have never operated with the foundational roadmap of the budget, right? And so that's not something that just comes naturally. It's a skill that's developed over time. And so all of us that do this financial coaching work, it's incredibly valuable, it's incredibly rewarding, and we get to walk alongside with the client. One of our guarantees that we have at Cross Shield, all of our coaches agree to this, is that when we have a client that says yes to coaching, they get a full access guarantee to their coach. So your audience may be asking, what does that mean, full access guarantee? That means that if you engage with one of our Cross Shield coaches, if you have a question at any time of day or night, you can reach out to your coach by phone, text, email, whatever it may be, and we guarantee that we're going to respond back to you with that question within 24 hours, sometimes much sooner than that. So that aspect of it, in addition to just being financial coaching in general, that aspect creates this sense of not just empowerment, but also, you know what? I've got a trusted advisor that's walking with me through this stuff. So even if I may not really know what's going on, I'm scared, I'm nervous, I've got maybe my wife and my husband, we are on the same page together, I can reach out to my coach and say, oh my gosh, we had a horrible budget committee meeting. It went bad and we blah, blah, blah. I'd love to have a conversation about how I can be better with it. It's like, absolutely. When can we talk, right? So that's one of the big differences that I see in financial coaching with other financial professionals is that aspect of we're walking with you through this process because we care about you, we love you, and we can help you accomplish what you want to accomplish. So I've rambled quite a bit, and so I'd love to get you guys' aspect of that, number one, and then number two, just kind of your feedback for us as a coaching firm. How do you receive that?
Golden, man. Thank you so much for that. And I just want to piggyback and come into agreement with you that FCMC Financial Coach Master Training out of Ramsey Solutions is a world class. I very much enjoyed it. I know David did too. But yeah, no, I think that is like the difference. You know, us coaches, we walk alongside our clients and really offer ourselves. You know, Whereas an advisor, they sell insurance and they, invest your money into growth stocks, mutual funds. Very different, very different. Uh, yeah. What do you know?
Yeah, one thing I always tell all of the clients is anytime they ask a question, they're, guaranteed going to get an answer. However, if it's a quick answer, I'll be glad to answer it right away. If it's something that's going to produce a habit change, something that's going to be able to encourage them, we wait for a session because that way we can involve some kind of an exercise.
Yeah.
Because the whole philosophy is this:
I like that.
if I give you a fish, you eat for a day. If I feed you the fish, you will eat for life. So if it's just a simple question, I'll be glad to answer it. But if it's going to create a habit, let's work on that a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's save that for a face-to-face. Sure. I like that.
An interesting aspect that we do in regard to that, David, is, and I saw that kind of early on. What kind of question requires a little bit more conversation, and we get to kind of decide what that is. But the other aspect we've had in place to offset that is when clients work with us, all of their information that they're going through their financial coaching journey with us is housed with us, meaning that we see their budget in live time. Now, if they want to use an electronic app, those type of things, that's fantastic. We encourage that. But we work with a dedicated spreadsheet structure for the budget, and it's housed in our shared drive system so that if there's a question related to the mechanics of the budget, things that are going on, I mean, we can pull it by our phone and look at in real time with them, really kind of get them through that. If the question's more of a strategic type question, then yes, absolutely, it may require a little bit more time, but we've tried to put good systems and processes in place so that the coaches that work with us have that accessibility really, really quick. And our clients really love it. Our clients, I'm getting communications on a regular basis. Today, I got a communication from one of our clients, and he's going through a potential career change, and he's been really struggling with the decision on that. And so we had a brief discussion yesterday about it, and he texted me today and said, "Hey, man, I've made the decision. I'm going to make this move. I'm a little bit nervous about it, but we've walked through the numbers, we've walked through the pros and cons." And he just texted today and said, "Hey, I made the call. I'm starting next day, and wow, thank you so much for letting me walk through that." So, for us, life doesn't happen every 2 weeks or once a month, right? Life happens sometimes hour by hour, and to be able to know that there is a trusted advisor, ready and able to answer that communication. I'll tell you what, I'm seeing so much in our current culture today. And listen, these phones are great and the technology is wonderful, but it's really creating an opportunity, I think, for us as coaches, regardless of what coaching discipline that you're in, but especially in the financial coaching space. This is creating a lot of opportunity where people are desperate to have an actual conversation by phone, to hear the tone, to hear the warmth, to hear the care, to hear the certainty, to hear the confidence of a trusted advisor that is not in their household, right? You don't get into all the minutia of things, but having that trusted person be able to have a conversation with people are dying to have these conversations. They're just wanting that connection with someone. So I encourage everybody that's listening to this. I know you guys have a lot of followers, coaches, whatever you got. Pick up your phone, have an actual conversation with your client. Obviously, we do this on Zoom quite a bit, but it's those one-off in-between sessions. Hey, I'm just sending you a voice text. Thank you so much for all that you're doing. You're doing a great job. I'm proud of you. That stuff from a coaching perspective, lead gen, client management standpoint, it is gold. And we do that on a regular basis. I know you guys do too, on how you take care of your clients powerfully.
Wow, that is powerful. So AI, AI is wonderful, it's impressive, and I'm very thankful for it. But there's something that AI cannot offer that we can. We can offer that love, that warmth, that care, that what else? I mean, that
personal touch.
Yeah.
Nothing can beat that personal touch.
That's right.
Because, matter of fact, I was in a meeting today, and we were talking to this one guy, and there was something about him that's just like, as soon as I got to talk to him, I was like, I appreciate your service, blah, 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 and all this kind of stuff. And he's like, I didn't even realize you would remember that. There's certain times when we can actually do a personal touch, which goes beyond anything else that you can imagine. If I reach out to you and say, I'm with you. Well, what are you with me about? I'm with you because I know you're going through this and I know you're going to get through it. You remember. Thank you. That personal touch makes all the difference.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. We are made in the image of God. AI is made in the image of man, I guess, and you can tell. And just the glory of that personal touch. You can really tell. Yeah.
Well, I'll just add a little bit to that. Yes, AI is a great tool. We love AI here. We use AI a ton, and the reason that we do use AI quite a bit in the practice, number one, is because it just makes a lot more effective use of the time that we have with clients. Our clients are incredibly busy. Number one, they've got a lot of life going on. There's a lot of fear, a lot of concern. And so anything that we can do in our practice to be able to give more time to be able to have a conversation with a client is really important. The other thing too that's really interesting about AI is that God has given our minds incredible resources. AI was created, yes, by man, but through the skills, the talents, the knowledge, the know-how that God has given us. And it's up to us whether we utilize that for good purposes, and we can utilize it for obviously bad things too. But it is such an effective tool in a lot of ways to be able to provide amazing resources for clients. But to your point, Will, it does not replace the heart, the love that we have for our clients, the care that we have, even in times when we have to be very loving and accountable to our clients and say, look, listen, you're not doing the things that you said you want to do to meet your goals. And so very lovingly, this may not be a great fit for where we are. And sometimes the best thing that we can do for a client is to take a pause on coaching or to, just be very lovingly and firm with them and just let them know, hey, this doesn't align with the goals that you've established for yourself. And so we need to make a change in our engagement. So if we truly care about our clients, we're definitely going to lean in. We're going to help them meet their goals, but we're never, ever going to work harder than our clients do.
Yeah, that's
right. And I've been guilty of that, but we got to keep that in mind. It's their goals, it's their coaching session, it's what they want to do. It's not what Rudy wants for them. Because I will tell you guys, and you're the same way, we're cut from the same cloth. We probably want a whole lot more for them than they might want from us. But as a coach, that's not my job. My job is not to tell them what they have to do. My job is to give them the tools, the resources, to lock arms with them, put my arm around their shoulder, but they've got to be ahead of us. So we want them to, that's what creates sustainability in our coaching practices, is really letting our clients be the one that's just one step ahead of us. And we're there to support them, hold their arms up, and to, kick them in the butt sometimes if that's needed as well, because we do love and care for them.
It's funny you say that because I want to say third, might have been fourth customer from Ramsey when I first started a long time ago. They needed help with, getting a budget, and a lot of people, when they come to us, they don't even know what a budget is. And a budget takes 3 to 6 months to actually get down. So I understand that.
It's almost like a swear word.
Yeah, but working with this person, every single month there was more stuff that she forgot about, and more stuff. I was more committed, and I was like doing everything for her because I was like, she's gonna get it. 6 months down the road, she still didn't have a clue how to do the budget because I was the one doing the work. She was just accepting it. And so, I learned early on that if they're not willing to put it in, step right on out.
Yeah. What amazes me about that story is you did have that client retention. she stayed with you for at least 6 months, but she wasn't retaining.
Mhm.
She wasn't retaining the knowledge and the know-how, the practical doing of doing the budget.
Yep.
So I'm curious what ended up happening.
Well, I had to let her go.
How you actually drew the line.
Yep.
You said we're not a good fit.
Yep.
And you learned from that.
Yeah. Just like Rudy said, you have to learn. You got to step in and be like, look, I can't do it. I know you've been there, Rudy.
Yeah.
You've been in practice 17 years, so you probably had a few of those occasions yourself.
I have for sure, and it's hard. Well, listen, if we do our jobs well as coaches, it should be a little bit challenging, but it's also a decision that needs to be made on a regular basis. Listen, this coaching stuff, it's new. It's about behavior adjustments, even if it's on the financial side. And if I'm a person that I've gone through 40, maybe 50 years of doing things a certain way, and I know I need help, I know I need coaching, and I get into it. Well, you know what? I've got 40 or 50 years of kind of doing things Rudy's way, and it may take me a few little jump starts to kind of get acclimated to this submitting myself to a different authority to do things differently, right? We don't like doing that in general. I mean, I'm not a guy that let me change the way I've been doing things because it's been all wrong. No, it takes me a little while sometimes to realize, okay, you know what? I have been doing things in a way that's not really getting me to my goals. And as a coach, it's our job to also show people a little bit of that and do it in a way that doesn't dishonor them, doesn't disrespect them, and also does not dishonor our practice and our values. Um,
Yeah.
and if we don't do that as a coach, if we're just kind of going through the motions, and listen, I've been guilty of it too, guys. I've been guilty of being in a place financially where, you know what, I need the revenue. I'm at a different place financially or whatever it may be, and I kind of have allowed myself to stay with a client longer than was right for them. I should have disengaged from the engagement earlier so that they can grow. It's just like being in an enabling relationship. If you don't have good boundaries for yourself, and you allow things to occur from a needy perspective, I would submit that you're actually harming your client by doing that.
Well, it's key you said that, but before we go too much further, I did want to say we are at half point.
Yep.
So for the people in the audience, if you guys have any questions, post them in the chat, and we will bring it up. We are more than happy, but while we're going, we're going to just keep talking.
Yeah. Looking forward to reading some of those questions and trying to answer them the best we can. You don't want to miss out on this. We've got Rudy Upshaw here and Dave Smith here too. Very, very experienced coaches. So, wow, David, what do you have? You got something you're burning. I know I can see it in your eyes. Want to say something?
I don't know why you say it like that. But yeah, the key is knowing when to cut the ties, because you're only thinking about the money. Remember,
Yeah.
we didn't come in with the money, and we can't take the money with us.
You ever see a U-Haul behind a hearse? You ever see a U-Haul behind a hearse? Yeah.
I have, but it wasn't carrying service. But yeah, that's beside the point. But the key here is, you're going to be taken care of as a coach, because you're going to help many clients. That is not, you don't want to get all your money from this client. If you let them go, they're going to bring somebody else to you because, wait a second. He respected me and passed me on. It's funny, one of my clients, I had told them they're not a fit for me, and I actually gave them to a different coach. They actually sent me business. I passed them off to another coach, and they're sending me clients. So sometimes it is wise to do what's best for the client because that will always come. On the same skill you sow, you will reap.
Yeah, I think. Can you hear me now, Rudy?
Yeah, I can. You said something she couldn't do something, and I didn't catch what that was.
Couldn't keep her butt out of the casino.
Oh, right. Sure.
She had that gambling problem. So she would
Yep.
get paid every Friday, and then she would go to the casino and she would gamble her paycheck away. So it's like, so she reached out and she was very adamant about getting the extra accountability by hiring me as her coach. And I was like, Mr. Fix It, hero with a cape flying behind me in my head, first client. Um, so she didn't have the money up front to meet my very affordable wage at the time. So instead of saying, hey, let's wait till payday, I did something no coach should ever do and compromise his price. So I did that. And when it was time for us to meet, she was nowhere to be found. I called her, emailed her, texted her, nothing. Left her a voicemail. The next day, she reached back out, and guess where she was during the time our session was supposed to be? At the casino. She was at the casino. And so that's my story. I had to draw that line. I had to say, you know what? We are not going to be a good fit. But I'm going to check in with you on down the road, and I have, uh, and no answer. So a lot of lessons learned there. Number one, I did her a disservice by compromising my price, because if I hadn't have done that, she may have probably would have most definitely would have taken the coaching more seriously. She would have shown up, right? She would have shown up.
And she might not have had the money for casino.
And she might not have had the money for the casino. And, and instead of blowing the money, she would have been investing it within herself for her personal development. Excellent point. Um, Another one would be, hey, take the cape off of my back and put it on her. She's the hero, right? To her story. I'm the guide. You know? Uh, a lot of different lessons, but I don't want to go on rambling like Rudy.
So Rudy, I'm curious. You've been coaching for 17 years. Your passion is helping people out. What was the motive behind you getting into this position?
The motive or the driver, I guess, getting into coaching and consulting is to well, it's number one to help people, right? But number two, and I think a very close, probably second to that, is using my God-given talents and skills to be able to deliver on that, right? Personally, business, all those things. And then beyond that, the other kind of driver is let me just tell a little bit about my story, just to give the audience and you guys a little bit of perspective. So, um, my mom was a single mom, as many, parents are. Single mom with three kiddos. I was the middle child, and my mother was, we just didn't have a lot of income, and we had a lot of food insecurity. And growing up, the way we ate and the way we got food was we would dumpster dive into dumpsters behind grocery stores back in the day. And we would. This was back in the day when there weren't the trash compactors and all that, when there was open dumpsters. And so, my mother would drive her car back behind some of the grocery stores, kind of late at night or kind of early in the evening, because she didn't want to be seen by people in the community. She was fairly well known in the community, and us kiddos, because we were smaller and littler, we would, she'd kind of take the car, she'd roll it past the dumpster, turn the engine off where you couldn't really hear. You can't do that today with the cars that are designed today. And we would go and jump in the dumpster, and with whatever was in there, and we'd be looking for food, and we would find food that was out of date or whatever, and we would take that, and we ate like that for the better part of my childhood. And it was a hard time. There were times when we didn't have any heat in our home. Sometimes we had our water cut off. Our home, we lived with roaches and infested with mice. And I say all that to say, not to give any type of attention to myself, but to say that I am very appreciative of those experiences that I walked through and lived through, because it gives me a very, very strong perspective of people not only that are in those situations or walk through those situations, but people that even are that haven't experienced that, but still have maybe a poverty mindset of things that I can't accomplish the things that God's put on my heart, or because of my situation, I have a deficit, I have a handicap because of those things. I'm so blessed and grateful for those experiences that were very, very traumatic, very, very painful, because I can put myself in those people's situation that do have this poverty mindset. I can easily relate to it. Now, fast forward, I'm doing what I'm doing now. I don't have those issues, but you know what? Our situations can change, guys, on a dime, right? People that say, "Oh, well, that will never be me. That will never happen to me." That is coming from a place of pride, in my perspective. It can, and it has happened to other people for various reasons. Will, you mentioned your client that had an addiction to gambling. It's a very real addiction, right? And it's very challenging to overcome those things. So we just have to realize and understand that by the grace of God, here's where I'm at today. And I'm going to use the experiences that God has allowed me and blessed me to walk through to be able to be a blessing, to be an encouragement, to be able to share some of my story. And I share my story on a regular basis with clients that I feel like need to hear some of those things. And coaches that are listening to this podcast or watching the podcast, please use your story in a very good way to help encourage your clients, help them realize that God created all of us as very, very powerful people. If we are followers of Christ, follow the way, the word says that he imparts that spirit to us, the spirit of power, the spirit of love, the spirit of accomplishment, the spirit of achievement, right? Sometimes we just need to know, number one, that we have that, and a fantastic financial coach or a fantastic coach is going to remind us of how we were truly created in God's image. But then number two, God also expects us to use the skills, use the talents, use the abilities that he has blessed us with to be a blessing to others. And in return, we get an indirect blessing of those things too, regardless if it's financial, regardless if it's business success, whatever it is, we get to be a beneficiary of all those things. So that was a very, very long-winded explanation of a little bit about me and kind of why I got into this. But I will tell everyone on the podcast and to you, David and William, I was 10 years behind doing what I'm doing right now because of my, I'll just be really transparent, my disobedience, you know, my fear of failure, my being very averse to risk, and that comes from fear. And so I should have been doing this 10 years earlier than what I really got started in it, right? So I would just encourage everyone that's listening to this, if you feel that you know that you're supposed to coach, be it a financial coach or whatever coach, I encourage you to reach out to David, reach out to William, have a conversation with these amazing coaches and really explore that in more detail and lean in. Just lean in. Just start coaching. Start building your practice. And listen, I've been doing this a long time. There's still stuff I don't know, and I'm learning things every single day. And but just lean in and live out God's purpose that He's put on your heart to serve others powerfully, to coach, and to coach well. So there you go, guys. Sorry, rambled on a lot.
No, love that. Can you still hear us?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Man, yeah, your story really just blessed me. It really did. Thank you so much for sharing. I'm sure I'm not the only one that's been blessed by your story.
All glory to Him.
Absolutely, all glory to Him. Unmerited favor, mercy, unmerited favor. We don't deserve it, but He loves us and He chooses to bless us. I think, going back to what you said, I'm still learning a lot. I don't know it all, far from arriving, like Apostle Paul says. I believe it's 2 Corinthians, but anyway, wherever it is, a lot of it, I think, just comes down to being present in the moment, operating as God's vessel. Okay, God has got me, David, you, and all of us coaches here in real time for a real reason. We tune into Him and act as that vessel. Look out, baby! But we're gonna say the things and do the things that other people need to hear because we're His vessel. Not that we know it all, right? But it's because we're present in the present moment. Wow.
Oh, I can't wait for David to talk.
Right, I know he's always got something to brewing. He brews these things. I mean, I can see the wheels going in his head now. It's impressive.
Well, you worked with me for a long time.
There's the net I'm casting there.
So it's like,
don't trip, bro.
You see how I work. You just see how I operate.
Yeah.
But so many people out there, they get to see each and every person as we're out there, as we're working, as we're kind of like helping them mold. But one of the things I want to kind of like gear towards, because we're starting to wrap down a little bit, and I want to make sure I touch in on a specific topic because we are blessed to have Rudy.
Yeah.
Rudy is a coach of coaches.
Still want to hear that story, by the way, of the cross and the shield, but
yes,
after
we're
this,
getting to that.
Yeah.
So he is a coach of coaches.
Yeah.
He has coaches working for him.
Right.
And that is actually one of my passions. I gotta have 40 coaches by time of enrichment, which I believe is August or September. So it's coming close.
Yeah.
But it's still far away.
Right.
But Rudy has been doing that for years.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, when I first came to Ramsey, he was the first one that I seen that had coaches he was working for. Or I had coaches working for him.
Right.
And it was an inspiration to me. And I didn't know it at the time, but I was going to be doing the same thing, just not to the level that Rudy is doing it. So I want to hear from Rudy about having coaches for you and how you encourage them and build them up.
Yeah, great question. That's probably the hardest aspect of building a multi-coach practice is number one, finding the right coaches that fit your practice's values, the mission, the purpose, and how you want your firm to be able to coach clients. Let me just talk about that briefly, and then I'll circle back around. So there are a lot of, from a financial coaching perspective, there are a lot of different types of financial coaches, let alone all the other coaching, subcategories that are out there. So financial coaches, there's a spectrum, and the spectrum that I see is on the left side, or kind of one end of the spectrum. You have people that do a great job at being financial coaches, and the deliverable is very conversational. It's very high level. It's very, I don't know, it's just very casual. Let's just say it that way. Okay. And then at the other end of the spectrum, you have financial coaching firms that are very detail oriented, very action oriented, very much into the detail of the numbers, the budgeting, the mechanics of things. Now, you still get a lot of the reasons and behaviors behind it, but these particular firms really enjoy the details of really that financial coaching process. And then you have financial coaches all along that spectrum, right? Our firm has chosen to be at the right end of that spectrum. We want to get into the details. We want to get very action oriented. So, what that means is for each of our sessions, our clients have dedicated specific action items that they're to accomplish between that session and the next session. We have a very, very good accountability process by which we have dates and timelines, and they get notifications of, hey, this particular action item is due then. How are you doing on it? We get to communicate back and forth. And so I say all that to say, depending on the type of coaching, financial coaching practice or methodology and structure that you want to use, that also drives the type of people or financial coaches that you want to have in your firm, regardless of what it is. Because what you don't want to do as an owner of a firm is you don't want there to be dilution in your processes, in your values, in your brand. And so having a very clear mission, vision, and purpose for your practice, if you're looking at having a multi-coach practice, really important to have that fairly well structured and lined out so that you can be consistent with how you coach your clients. The other aspect of having a multi-coach practice is that you want to inspect processes. You want to do a lot of mentoring, a lot of shadowing, a lot of just making sure that your coaches are highly supported. And again, even that's a bit of a spectrum too. There's some coaching firms that, hey, if you want to coach, great, here's kind of a methodology, now go get them, right? And then you receive maybe a revenue share portion of what they generate revenue-wise. And so our practice has chosen to be very intentional with our coaches, giving lots of support, lots of encouragement, lots of guidance and direction for them, because it is important for our brand and how we coach with people, but it's even more important for us. Part of our DNA is we want our financial coaches, we want them to be highly successful outside of even Cross Shield. So what that means is if they're successful with how they coach their clients, they're going to be successful in Cross Shield. So every coach has their own, little proclivities and kind of the style that they coach, even though the structure and the methodology is still going to align. It may be a little bit different. We want them to be very successful with their own style, because we know that at some point they may want to do their own and hang out their own shingle outside of Cross Shield. So we're kind of this incubator, if you will, for people that really truly want to be known and powerful financial coaches. They get to be part of the Cross Shield ecosystem, gain that knowledge, gain that experience, so that when they're ready to come out of Cross Shield, they are coaching powerfully and people's lives are being transformed and they're building wealth, and they get to share that story with others. So I would say we're a bit on a mission at the end of the day, although it's very, very indirect. So, William, I think this might be a good time to talk about our logo and kind of why it's called Cross Shield, right? So, to keep it very, very simple for the audience, we are a faith-based financial coaching firm, pure and simple. I'll just kind of start with that. We believe in the power of prayer. We encourage our coaches to pray over their sessions. We pray over our coaches, over our team. Even in our communications tool internally that we use, we have a channel that's called prayers. And we regularly, if there's a situation that's going on with a client or with a team member, we put that out there and say, hey, here's what's going on, here's the situation. I would love for you guys to just be in prayer over this situation for our client or for our team member. Obviously, all of our coaches sign non-disclosure agreements and all that kind of stuff as a standard, but prayer is just part of our DNA. So the first part of the word cross it really relates to being led and driven by the heart of Christ and letting the Holy Spirit permeate our organization, and we want to be led and guided by the Holy Spirit. So that's the cross. The shield component is we want to be that shield for our clients. So the coaches, think of it, the analogy of, the coach being next to the client and they're putting their shield up in front of that client to protect the client, to shelter the client from the things that may be causing them to not achieve their goals and dreams. So that coach is kind of on the side holding that shield in front of them with our financial coaching practice. So that's the the imagery of cross shield.
It's funny you say that because, like, at first when you were going the vision, I was thinking, like Secret Service.
Yeah.
They stand in the way to be shielding. However, then that defeats what a coach is because we're supposed to be their guide. So I like how we put the shield out in front of them. I like that better.
Mm-hmm.
But
we're not blocking ourselves, right?
Yep.
We're not they get the ability to move the shield aside or whatever, but it's our heart and our mission to be able to hold that shield in front of them, to be able to give them tools, give them resources, give them the discipline. They get the choice to say whether it stays there or not. But that's our mission, is to shield our client from the things that are going to cause them to not get their goals and dreams accomplished.
Because coaching doesn't last forever. At some point, they're going to have to hold the shield. We pass it over to them, right?
We give them the tool, and they got to be able to walk. So I did want to make one mention. You had mentioned how your practice is detailed oriented. That's how I am as well. It's very detailed oriented. Matter of fact, how strategic I designed was I'm a very logistical, very detailed oriented person. So designing everything is great for me. Will is not that. Will is a very personable person. So you put me and Will together, you got a great.
That's right, bro.
You were thinking I was going someplace else.
Way up. Did you do that right?
Close enough.
Okay.
But you were thinking I was going somewhere else, didn't you?
Well, I'm just here along for the ride.
So, but I think it's a great fit having Will because the way he works, his mind is different.
Sure.
And he actually brings people, together, and his whole way that he does things is a little bit different than I do, which is good because it brings the whole thing together.
Appreciate you saying that.
Didn't know where I was going.
I think you said it well. Yeah.
Keep you on your toes. So I do have to say a couple things because we are winding down. First of all, I do appreciate you being here. Rudy, you have been a blessing.
Yeah.
Now, to let everybody know, we do have a Bible study on Tuesdays. This is a unisex. Everybody comes. This is Tuesdays at 7. And then we also have a men's Bible study on Friday for the men, and that's at 6 o'clock on Friday. The links are in the description below. We also have the podcast every Thursday. And we also have several different events going on through the week. We also have a community just for coaches, which is going to be a great thing. It's a newly started community.
Yeah.
So we're just now growing it. So definitely jump in that. So we also want to give props to Rudy, his business, because one thing I do have to say is he has been an inspiration to me. He doesn't know how much he's been an inspiration, because he's the one that got me to run this practice the way I have. Because of him and because of all the calls I've seen him on, he has been an inspiration to me.
Yeah.
Did you have any final words?
Powerful guy. I'm humbled to be in your presence as always, David, and Rudy. The same goes for you. So, yeah, really humbled. That's what I've got.
And Rudy, did you have any final questions before we go?
Just a final thought. Thank you guys for inviting me in, and the comments are very flattering, very humbling. And to that point, you never know how we're going to influence other people. And it doesn't have to be this intentional, hey, I want to come alongside and help you. Just be who we are, how God created us. And if we lean into that and we are obedient to that, oh my gosh, blessings are everywhere. I do want to say one last thing to the audience. If you do not have your own coach, your own financial coach, please, please explore that, pray about that. I have my own financial coach, I have my own business coach, and I will never, ever be without my own coach because I don't know what I don't know. I can't see my own gaps. There's tremendous value in having your financial coach or having a coach. So, audience, please reach out to David. Please reach out to Will. Have that conversation. You'll be amazed at the things that you are going to be able to accomplish by having someone that cares about you, that wants you to achieve those things, and can help you do that. So that's my last word.
Reach out to Rudy. Hey, the description's in the description below, or the link to reach out to Rudy's in the description below. If it's not there, it'll get there.
That's right. And thank you everybody for coming, and we appreciate you. And we'll see you same bat time, same bat channel next week. Be blessed now.